conditions here.
Certainly are, Greg, and that should be interesting to see how we go. Peter Fitzgerald on pole. On the outside of him, Jim Richards. From 3, it's Paul Morris. Out of 4, Dickie Johnson. 5 is Greg Crick, and out of 6 is Jeff Morgan.
Yes, I think right at the moment, most of the drivers having to concern themselves with the wet conditions. It is raining. The track is completely wet, as is the infield, so if anyone manages to find themselves off the black stuff, they're definitely going to be in trouble. There's Morris in the Diet Coke BMW. The rain pouring down here at Calder Park, the Dogbone Honda. Greg Crick's machine, fantastic looking piece of gear. Gary Walden in the new RX-7. Beside him, Jim Zerefos in the Lotus, waiting for the start now. Oh, Fitzgerald's gotten away nicely. Richards in beside him. Here comes Walden from about midfield. A flyer of a start from him. Field settling themselves in for the first run down into the right-hander. But it is Fitzgerald in charge of this one. Richards with a good start as well. Crick in the Honda behind. Oh, Zerefos is up there. Gee, what a great start from him. Here comes Walden round the outside. Simply ran off the track, out of brakes. Going a bit too quick there. He's going to have to settle himself down. He's lost a lot of places. But right at the moment, Zerefos, great start from him up into 3rd place. Crick in 4th. There's Morris battling away with Dick Johnson. In fact, forced him right up onto the ripple strip. It is Fitzgerald. Richards right in behind him. Then it's Jim Zerefos. Greg Crick coming through. Dick Johnson got back on Paul Morris. So there, that's only playing back for what happened in the previous corner. Right at the moment, though, Richo trying to get round the outside, or at least just sticking a wheel up there, letting Fitzy know the situation. Zerefos, then it's Crick, Johnson, Morris. Boy, what action already. First lap, don't forget the track's wet, it's raining. These guys slipping and sliding everywhere.
They certainly are. You've got to watch them as they come onto the main straight here. A very, very tricky corner. Richards coming under a mile of pressure from Zerefos, who's got a great amount of straight line speed in this particular car. When I spoke to him a little earlier, Greg, in the pits, he wasn't very happy with the corner handling of the car, but down the straight, he said it's got the legs.
Got the legs, gee, you got the boot into that thing. Oh, round the outside comes Richo, sideways. That's the way to drive a Porsche. Get the boot in, get it sideways. Either way, didn't lose much ground. Have a look at that, straight back onto the tail of Jim Zerefos. Zerefos has got the horsepower. He knows how to use it. Keep the foot buried through the floor on the Lotus. May not have the cornering speed, but gee, it's got some pace down the straight. It is Fitzgerald, Zerefos, and Jim Richards. 1, 2, and 3. It is the Lotus Esprit, the meat in the Porsche sandwich right at the moment. Look at Richo trying to get round the outside there. If the Lotus couldn't quite come up with the goods that time through. I can see Morris up there as well, a little further afield, having a great run with Dick Johnson. Those guys swapping a bit of paint. One's black, one's white. It shouldn't be too hard to work out who's been doing what to whom. Zerefos, the boot in as they come onto the straight. Have a go at the horsepower of the Lotus. He's got the foot absolutely through the floor. Fitzgerald cut across the front of him. He's going to make him go the long way. It's not a problem for JZ. Charges down the outside. I doubt if he can outbrake him from here because Fitzgerald really has the line. Look at this, straight across the front of the Porsche. Thank you very much, I'll take that. Zerefos running wide. Fitzy back up the inside. Here's Fitzy's chance to grab back the lead. Zerefos caught out hanging and drying right at the moment. Fitzy's cut across the front of the Lotus, so he moves back into the lead. Richo's watching all of this going, wondering where he can come in and party. Walden's come up to play with this little group. So Gary Walden, he's managed to get back up after that little indiscretion on the first corner. It is Fitzgerald. Here's the Lotus in 2nd place. Richards in 3rd, trying to get around the outside of the Lotus. Right at the moment, I think he's just sticking a wheel up there to let him know he's there. It is Fitzgerald sideways as he came out of the S's. The Lotus in 2nd place, then it's Richards.
Yeah, Richards doing a nice job there. The man with probably the most miles under his belt at this particular stage. And that car with a lot of miles under the belt also. Richards coming away with a nice 2nd place for himself in that particular car in the recent Target Tasmania Rally. Out in front, though, it is Fitzgerald doing a very nice job. A man we've come to know so well in production car circles, taking nice clean lines around the circuit, and gee, isn't he doing a good job in that Porsche?
Yeah, I think Fitzy's under a bit of pressure right at the moment. He knows the Lotus has got the pace. And don't forget that right at the back of this little group is the RX-7, the brand new RX-7 of Gary Walden. The thing's fast, and boy, is it nimble. He seems to be able to put it wherever he chooses. It is Porsche, Lotus, Porsche, Mazda RX-7, the brand new Mazda RX-7 of Gary Walden. He is really working over the tail of Richo right at the moment, and Richo doing everything he can to try and at least get back and have a bit of a battle with Fitzgerald. Here he goes again. He got some good drive out of the S's, trying to go round the outside of Zerefos. You wouldn't think that's going to work. Have a go at this round the outside. Oh, he's run wide, though. I think Fitzgerald thinking to himself, well, maybe all of this is going on in the rearview mirrors. These guys helping me out a little bit here. It is Walden up the inside of Richo this time, so Richo really having a rough time out there.
You've got to take your hat off to Gary Walden. This is a great drive from him in the new RX-7. Some 62 modifications into this car over its predecessor. The car currently being driven tonight by Dick Johnson. So a good drive from Walden, who had problems into the first corner. Out in front, it is Fitzgerald. Coming under a little bit of pressure from the Lotus of Jim Zerefos. 3rd is Walden, and on the outside, here comes Richards looking for a manoeuvre.
Yeah, Richards trying again that wide entry there. He likes that entry. I don't know why, but seems to work for him. He doesn't lose any ground. At the moment, it is Gary Walden on screen under a fair bit of pressure from the Rainmaster. Gentleman, Jim Richards. This guy is well known for his ability to drive in the rain. Maybe he's happy with it. Look at that as Walden power slides his way in and out of the S's. What a glorious piece of driving from him. He certainly settled into the new car pretty quickly. Calder Park looks absolutely brilliant under lights. The crowd loving every bit of this action. The headlights showing up just how wet it is out there right at the moment. It is Fitzgerald. Then it's the Lotus of Jim Zerefos. JZ on the mat. Absolutely got the foot buried through the floor this time. This is where Lotus really comes into its own. It is Lotus territory. This thing really has has some grunt. It doesn't quite come onto the straight the way he'd like, but gee, they'll make up for that, says Jim Zerefos. Not a problem. Fitzy says, well, you're going to have to go the long way. Right round the outside, you can see the car squirming, getting sideways under brakes. JC turns it in. It is the RX-7 who's coming up to play in this little party. Four of them battling for the lead. Fantastic action here at Calder Park. Oh, Walden's clobbered JC. Gee, JC's going sideways off the track. Let's hope that he manages to, yes, very quickly get it out of trouble there. Zerefos just bounced it up and over the curves, managed to keep out of trouble. Morris has just gone by, as has Dick Johnson. Greg Crick's up there as well. In fact, that was Johnson just out of shot. The battle at the front is an absolute cracker. It is Fitzgerald, Walden, Jimmy Richards back in third place. But right at the moment, Walden, the man on a charge, absolutely dives late under brakes. You can see the glowing discs. Fitzgerald with a mile of pressure on him at the moment. Walden working him over left and right.
And in fact, going to the left again, Greg, looking for an outside manoeuvre on Fitzgerald. Couldn't quite do it that time, so Fitzgerald settling back down. A nice line onto the main straight, but Walden has got the better line as they come onto the straight. It's a drag race down the main straight. Who's it going to be, Greg?
Have a look at this, RX-7 versus the new Porsche. Two new models. If you're thinking about buying one of these cars, you take either. They are so close when it comes to acceleration and power down the straight. Walden's got the inside line. That should be all he needs. And look at this. Yes, that's exactly the situation that Fitzgerald's found himself with. Had to slide in behind. Fitzgerald up on the curb. He probably did 10 metres less than the RX-7 around that particular corner at that time. He's managed to get it back into the front. Walden's thinking to himself, gee, I thought I had it this time. Richards up into play, having a go at the back of the RX-7 already. So Richards has come back. He sat back, had a bit of a think about it. Richo on the mat this time. The RX-7's losing a little ground. Up the inside goes Richo. Great move there from Richo. He now moves on to the back of Fitzgerald's car. Fitzgerald's certainly under a lot of pressure right at the moment. A lap car just coming into play, lets them all through. The Mazda round the outside. So right at the moment, it is Porsche, RX-7. That is the order. 1, 2, and 3. Using the skills that he's got in the rain to try and get this Porsche around, try and make the gap up to Peter Fitzgerald. Fitzy just looks so strong though out in front. Whenever he loses the lead, he figures out very quickly how to regain it. They're on their last lap. Not a lot of time now. It is up to Richards to try and come up with something magic. Fitzy's in control. Richo again, wide down the bottom. He loves that line.
Yeah, he certainly does. He's doing a very good job though, given the conditions. You've really got to take your hat off to the management here at Calder Park. Another great innovation, nighttime racing, the lights ablaze, the flames coming from the exhaust, and of course the disc glowing nice and red. A bumper crowd, and they certainly love it.
Yeah, I wonder what's happened to the RX-7. It's just fallen right there. It is right off the pace. Bad luck for Gary Walden. He's well, it's not a good way to debut the car, but he hasn't got some potential for the rest of the season. It is Richards ranging right up onto the back of Peter Fitzgerald. They're only a few corners from home. Richo really is going to have to dig deep to try and come up with the goods right at the moment. Here you have it though. For the final time, Richo up on the ripple strip, pedal to the metal and trying to run round the outside of Fitzy. It's not going to happen. Fitzy in control. What a great drive from Peter Fitzgerald. And you've got to hand it to Jim Richards. Really has hung in there, worked him over something fierce. Unbelievable action here under lights at Calder Park in the rain. Certainly has been something else. Peter Fitzgerald, Jim Richards and Morris has managed to get ahead of Dick Johnson to take out third place.
Well, that is just a taste of what racing is like in the GT production series. What are we in for when it comes to Eastern Creek? I think we're in for a cracker for the 12-hour.
Yes.